I'm meteorologist Vin Crosby. I'm going to try to get through this as quick as I can, but there is a lot to share here on the Weather Show with Vin Crosby. Please tell your friends and family about this. I do think this is a very dangerous situation that's developing. On top of all the record snows we have, on top of all the cold air that's now in place or starting to get in place, I still think the most dangerous part of this overall weather pattern here in the early stages of the new year is yet to come. And the reason is because the cold air is in place and another system's going to come on top of it and throw moisture on top of it. So I think there's 6 parts to this storm system that's going to really impact your life. I think below zero temperatures are here. There's more snow. There's freezing rain and heavy ice to come that could lead to power lines and trees coming down and extensive power outages, plus the possibility of flooding. First things first, let's get to the below zero temperatures because they are prominent. Temperatures are going to be around a degree below zero to 15 degrees below zero in the Treasure Valley, 10 to 30 degrees below zero elsewhere in central and eastern Idaho. Some areas getting 35 degrees below zero and 50 degrees below zero overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. More snow is on the way because the cold air is in place. We've got the system that moved through yesterday bringing us the snow here, but it's going to be that little red knob out there, the leading edge of another storm system that's going to move in for Saturday. And so I'm going to pause it right here because we're going to talk about this a little bit more extensively. High pressure in control. It's brought the Arctic air. It's sliding to the east. Then this system comes in from the Pacific and all that cold air climbs on top, just like an escalator going up, in the mall, and that just climbs up gradually. That's what's going to happen with the warm air overrunning the cold air, but it's not cold air. It is Arctic air. It is extremely stubborn and can sit 50 to 100 feet down at the surface while all the warm air overrides it. That cold air is going to lead to, I think, a very serious situation with the overrunning effect. All right, so heavy snow is going to move up into the mountains, and then we're going to have, as you can see, some of this here, warm air moving in, causing some of that red area, which is flash flooding. But freezing rain, I think, is going to be the problem too. Snow forecast for the Treasure Valley, I like 2 to 7 inches, starting Saturday afternoon, going through Saturday night before it starts to change over. And then up in the mountains, I like 7 to 20 inches of snow with this system. I think there's going to be a lot of energy, and the skiers are going to love it. However, avalanche danger is going to be extremely high. All right. Freezing rain and heavy ice. This is where I think everything's going to come to a climax, and we're going to start feeling the effects of it. The reason I believe this is because that warm air is going to override the cold air. The cold air is down to the surface. We're going to see it all. We're going to see snow. We're going to see sleet. And then we're going to see, I think, extensive freezing rain. 1/4 of an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch of ice is going to build up on trees, power lines. Now note, everybody can see the winter wonderland that's out there. There's a lot of weight on the trees and power lines already. You throw ice on top of that, things are going to snap very quickly. Carports, roofs, all that heavy weight, that's going to provide some collapses out there. So I'm treating this as if 1 or 2 of you out there are going to have catastrophic things happen to you. And so that's the kind of attention I want to bring this. This is a very serious situation that is developing out there across the Treasure Valley and the mountains and pretty much all across the Northwest. Then once the freezing rain is done, there'll be enough warm air that brings rain. And the rain on top of all the snow is going to cause immense flooding, water ponding, and enough so where I think it really could cause some serious damage to people, to pets, to property. And so that's what we're looking for here, I think, over the next couple of days. And now, here are some of the safety tips that I think we need to, first of all, before I get to the safety tips, trees, carports, roofs collapsing. They've already collapsed because of the heavy snow weight in some spots. we're going to see more of that. And then with the tree limbs coming down, there's going to be extensive power outages, I think, across the region. And then with this rain coming in late Sunday night into Monday, moderate to major flooding. I really think, though, it's going to be prolonged. The freezing rain is going to be prolonged because of this stubborn cold air mass that's down in the Treasure Valley floors. All right, this is important. Act now and prepare. We've got a day, maybe a day and a half, for you to take some actions which could possibly even save some of your lives or really prevent some hazard coming to you. Make a plan. Have a plan with your family of what to do, especially talking to your kids. Get food, water, and medications. Plan as if the power was out for 5 days. Let's take this serious, folks. Let's plan as if there's any situation where you want to be safe than sorry, this is it. This is the situation. Flashlights, matches, and candles. I went and got mine today. Generators, if possible, and blankets in case the power goes off and you are somebody who is a day or two or maybe more without power across the region. Remember, think safety first. All right, some tips here. Here's the safety tips I was talking about. Learn what hypothermia is about. Okay, your body gets cold enough, you will die. Gas up the vehicle. Clear snow off your roofs tomorrow going into Saturday morning. Maybe carports. Get that heavy snow off, because when the heavy ice starts to accumulate on top of that, the weight is going to be incredible over that area, and the structures are not going to be able to handle it. They're going to come down. Keep away from trees. We're not going to see little limbs come down. Big trees could come down. Make sure your kids know that when they're out playing around in some of the new snow that's going to fall. And make sure they know to stay away from power lines. Power lines will be down. You don't want to be electrocuted. All right, last but not least, let's go back to flash flooding and flooding possibilities. You don't drive through flooding. And then you don't want to drive through it anyways. You never want to drive through it when it's going to be this cold. You're going to drive into that water if you get stuck. You're going to get out into knee-deep water in some spots, so that's going to be tremendously cold for you and your kids. 2 feet of water can float a car, so if you see moving water, don't go into that. Stay dry as much as possible. Help each other out. Help your neighbor. Help the strangers. And get a first aid kit. You're not going to be able to make that quick run to an emergency room. You're not going to be able to call 911 and have them respond quickly. It's going to be pretty chaotic, folks, as we go on in through the next couple of days. I already called my parents. My dad had surgery, so I had to call anyways. But I talked to him. I said, hey, if you don't hear from me for 5 days and you can't get through on the cell phone, it's probably because the power is out. That's what you need to be doing to relatives around the country. Have a plan in place for your family if you lose contact with each other. All right, be safe. I really am concerned. Overnight temperatures tonight, well below zero. Snow coming in Saturday afternoon, Saturday night. Freezing rain with ice right after that. More rain on top of that. Even if the temperatures get above 32 degrees, the damage will already have been done with trees coming down, power outages, and then ponding of water on the roadways, which is going to go into next week. So this, I'm telling you, I've been forecasting for 30 years, worked at the Weather Channel, worked at some really high-end places, and I've done a lot of forecasts in my time. I have not seen in my time here since 1998 a more dangerous situation that potentially could develop here with high probabilities. I hate using that word potential because you at home say, oh, it's not going to happen. So I don't want that to happen. I want you to plan as if it's going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, woohoo, throw a party. But you're not going to be able to react when it's happening. Keep that in mind. Stay tuned. We'll give you as many updates as I can as we go on in through this weekend with this storm.